Hello, everyone. This is the second installment of our Mother's Day Proverbs Woman Bible study. We're just going to pick up where we left off. Enjoy.
Open your mouth for the speechless and the cause of all who are appointed to die. That's verse 8. Verse 9. Open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and the needy. Pretty straightforward, as a mother teaching a child integrity and to be just and fair, which a king needs, but all of us need that.
If he didn't have that mother, though.
Yeah, and you notice he didn't say these are the teachings of my father. So, not saying a father can't teach this. And they should. They most definitely should. And that's where I got a lot of these ideas from, was from my father, a lot from my mother. But he remembers what his mom told him. Okay? He remembers that. And so he's not talking about he's not quoting what his dad said. He remembers what his mom told him. And I think that's pretty powerful. You have such an influence on the next generation. And I think we could all use more just people with integrity, people that do what's right even when nobody's looking, and I think there's a lot of that gone because we look at things from a secular worldview now, and so it's kind of like, well, nothing's really wrong unless I get caught. I had this joke I used to tell. I didn't do this, but I did tell the joke when we're stopped at a stoplight all the time when I was younger. I would say, well, I think it's legal to turn left on a red light as long as no one's looking. Right. And so, playing off that idea that, really you can't, it was a very secular view, it's like, well, it's okay to do things that are wrong as long as nobody catches you, because what does it matter? Right. And I think that's kind of the way the world is now. Very much so.
I think these two verses, 8 and 9, are a really good example of what you were saying earlier. Whenever you were saying that mothers, she's teaching the king, and thereby she's influencing a nation.
A whole nation. Yeah, that's right. She's shaping it.
Because she's teaching him to judge righteously, plead the cause of the poor and needy, speak for those who can't speak for themselves. And
I'm real big into homeschool right now. So even though I am a public school teacher, I try to do my part to make the system better. But I just would say, look at this as a warning right here. And mothers teaching justness and fairness and integrity. And not only that, but also discernment, right? So you'll be able to judge fairly. And also that selfless stewardship almost. She's saying, stand up for those who are weak. That kind of thing. Speak for those without a voice,
We need more of all of those things
and
in our society right now.
If the mother teaches that, or the parents together, what happens when you entrust someone else to teach your kids? Like I said, I'm not knocking anybody who has a job. If you're a mother who has a career, I'm not saying that's bad. That's for you to decide. But I will say this, what's right for you. I didn't tell Rachel that she couldn't get a job. I've let her do whatever she wanted. She wanted to go to school. I encouraged her to go to school. I didn't tell her she had to go to school, but I also didn't stop her from going to school. And I did encourage it because I thought it was a good idea. I thought it'd be good for her to expand her knowledge. Why not? And if she wanted to get a job, I would let her get a job. But I'm just saying this as a warning. There is no more important job. And if you let someone else teach your kids, there's no guarantee they're going to teach them the same things that Lamuel's mother taught him. You don't know what they're going to do. That's up to their discretion. You've given your kids to them, and now they get to do what they want to. You hope they're doing what they say. You hope that they're saying the right things, but you don't know. And even if the teachers have good intentions, we're overloaded. I teach 180 students every year. That doesn't save a lot of time for a bunch of one-on-one. But this is the part that's that's always presented as the Mother's Day set of verses. So obviously we're going to try to get to this. I don't know how much we'll cover this in this video, but whatever we get through, we get through. Now we're in the virtuous wife on verse 10. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. And so there are some other verses further down, like that we keep going, that kind of illustrate some of this stuff. But I want to point out something like firsthand from a male's perspective who has been in this situation where you are seeking someone to share your life with. This is a tough situation. So for me, this verse, it's very important because I think it can be separated from these others. The other verses give you good reasons why a virtuous wife is so precious, worth more than vast amounts of money or precious stones. But I think one of the things I would just put as a warning is I see this all the time. I see that the world is really facing this problem, and that is, if I'm a Christian, can I be with a woman who is not a Christian? I see that question all over the internet, all over TV, everywhere, and you even get it all the time. They even have jokes about it where you talk about missionary dating. I mean, that's how common this problem is. Like, I'm gonna bring this person to Jesus with my dating. I just want to say Jesus warns against this, that do not be unequally yoked. Okay, I was married, my first marriage, it was unequally yoked. I don't want to get into the details of it. I will say this, that it was not just my first wife's fault. I was not a great husband. I was not unfaithful, but I was very selfish. And I'll say this, that when we first got married, I was not a Christian at all. And I didn't even give my life to Christ until after my divorce. But I will say this, that I know that I would not have wanted to be married to me when I wasn't a Christian. I'm still not perfect. I'm still a sinner. I'm still selfish. I'm still many other things, but I am a million times better than I was. Praise God for the work that He's done on me. I know I got a long way to go. Don't say anything. I know I've got a long way to go. We all do. We're a work in progress. And, I wish I could be a better husband to my wife, but that's the attitude of a Christian, is that I'm seeking to please God. When I'm seeking to please God, I'm going to be on my A game. Even when I fail, I'm failing at a different level, right? So I'm still producing good fruit also. I'm really good at producing fruit. And so that's all I would say, is that do not be unequally yoked. It is a headache. If you're already married and you're unequally yoked, it is what it is. You've already made a vow before God. You've become one flesh with this person. Maybe one day you can lead that person to Christ. I pray, that's my honest prayer, that I hope that happens. I love St. Augustine's Confessions. His mother a praying mother, led her son to Christ finally through her prayers. He gives all the credit, to her and to God. And she also converted his pagan father before he passed away. And so it can happen. It does happen. This happens in real life to Christians. But don't count on it. And that's a tough life. I can just tell you from experience, you want to marry someone who is a dedicated, Bible-believing follower of Christ, who loves His Word and just loves to please God and seeks to do that with all their heart. Like I said, nobody's perfect, but you can, when you find a Christian who loves God, that's going to be your best shot, because marriage is tough. And it's going to be tough regardless, but it's really tough when, you're married to a Satan worshiper or a Buddhist who doesn't believe the same things that you believe. And I'm not saying those two are the same things. I'm saying it's a world of difference between our beliefs, and that's an even bigger divide to try and bridge. Now I know I'm going to go to the next verses because I know you probably have more insight into these. because you haven't ever looked for a virtuous wife before, so I thought I would handle these. Not that you didn't tell me anyway. But I will say,
you could probably expound on the
I could even
verse.
I would go ahead and say even I'll go ahead. The heart of the husband safely trusts her, and so he will have no lack of gain. And even the next one, she does him not good, not evil, all the days of her life. Yes, there is a value to knowing for certain that the person you're with loves you and has your best intentions, that you can trust her in any situation, anywhere. I don't have to think like, oh, what did my wife mean by that? Or, oh man, I've left my wife alone too long. I've got to... man, I wonder what's going on over there. I got to turn the Ring camera around on her or something, you know? You got the pet camera spying on her, but I don't have to worry about that. I could live my life in misery worrying about what my wife's doing, but I don't have to, because I have a virtuous wife that instills perfect confidence in me. I know that she's going to make me proud when left alone, not that I have to worry about her. I know she's responsible. I know that she loves God, she fears God, she wants to please Him, and that's going to please me. And so, yes, there is some joy and there is very valuable. That's not the reason, that's not the only reason. It's a great reason, because that can make your life a living hell if you have to worry about your wife. But not only do I not have to worry, which is a great value in itself, but I also know that what is the most important thing in my life? Following Christ. What is the most important thing in her life? Following Christ. And I know that our goals are... She thought I was going to say something else.
No, I didn't. Actually. Okay. That's what I was just about to start talking about, was that triangle. God's at the top of that triangle. You're here. Your husband's here, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. And both people should be growing closer to God. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If they're not, they're going to grow apart. Yeah,
and that if
they're going to get closer to each other as well.
Yeah, so we have the same exact goals in life. She may be going to achieve her goals some way that's completely different than mine, but we are both going for the same goal. So not only are we one flesh, not only do I want everything good for her? Do I want the best for her? I want everything that she could want. You know, I always have her good intentions at heart, you know, as long as my selfishness doesn't step in the way only temporarily. But also we have that same exact shared goal. We're always going to be fighting the same battle. We always have our eyes on the same prize. But lastly, I think, and not least important, the first verse that I read, this is what I was trying to say earlier, is that to have a pure wife, to have that, it is so precious. It's not just because I can trust her, but it is just precious in itself. It's a blessing in itself to have a virtuous wife. Because in my eyes, she is this very lofty thing, right? And I don't mean thing like I'm subjugating her or anything like that. But to me, she is this valuable, unattainable treasure, because she is pure. And I already told you that neither of us were pure when we got married, but ever since we've been together, she has been nothing but faithful to me. And so she will always be pure in my eyes. And that is just it's such a treasure. I don't know how else to explain it. But just the fact that I know that she's a child of God, that weight that is attached to that, it is worth more than rubies. There is no amount of money that you could offer me to make me give up my relationship with my wife. Nothing. I would live in a hole to keep her, and there's nothing you could give me in place of that. If God decides to take her one day, or me from her, or whatever, if we were separated for whatever reason, because it was God's will, you know, one of us passes away or whatever, that's not what I want. But, you know, and I want God's will first, but it is such a blessing while we are allowed to have this relationship. It is worth more to me than anything other than God Himself. Without God, I can't enjoy my wife, as precious as she is to me. as valuable as she is to me, I can't even enjoy her without my relationship with God. And so I hope, I don't think that would, I know your heart and I know your relationship with God, and I know that that doesn't offend you, even though to a secular person that might sound very offensive, like, I love you a lot, but God is way more important. But and I know she feels the same way, and I understand. I'm not jealous of God, and
you have to put God first.
You have to put God first, and you want to. I know how I feel towards God, so I know she's gonna feel the same way. That is something I want. I want God to get all the credit, all the glory, all the praise. Anything good in me is just Him.
It doesn't offend me because
I know it doesn't.
You know, my own mother. That's something she taught me from a very young age, because my parents were not together. I didn't grow up with my mom and dad were not married, and I had a stepdad and stepsisters, and they were great. But of course, you always want the original. That's the goal, is to never have to deal with that in the first place.
That's God's plan.
But she always taught me, she said, you know, your marriage one day will not survive if you don't put God first. And that's something that always stuck in my mind.
And that's biblical, because you know, in the Bible it says put God first, and all that other stuff He'll give to you. And when I did that in my own life, when I put God first, then He gave me what I really wanted. That was a faithful, precious, beautiful, wonderful wife who's better than anything I could have ever asked for. I didn't expect to get somebody this good. I would have been satisfied with anything, but I got God gave me something way, way better than what I was asking for. But I had to put Him first, and I did. I gave up everything. I said, God, I don't want my life. I just want You to have it, because when I have it, I destroy it. And wow, then He gave me everything I was working so hard to get. Or I thought I was working to get. But He wasn't going to give it to me until I put my priorities in order. But when He did save me, He is my top priority, because, like I said, I couldn't enjoy any good thing without Him. All right. Oh, he's proud of himself. We had to pause because a mother's work is never done. Yeah, okay, we'll applaud for you for Mother's Day. Okay. Because you got a mother, and that's special, huh? He hurt himself, and so a mother never gets to clock out. That's a point I made in another one of my videos. It's hard to even record a video because a mother's just always on call. Because nothing else will do, will it? You showing them your foot? He's trying to show his foot. All right. So we're going to go through verse 15 today, I think. Cut this in half. Let's see, we did 11. Heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good, not evil, all the days of her life. She seeks... Oh, okay, so this is verse 13. We're picking up where we left off. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands.
Are you waiting for me?
Yeah, so, I can speak to this, but, I think this is more directly speaking to the woman, I don't, the female. It's, she seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. So, is this irrelevant to women today because we no longer do this, or?
No, obviously. We don't work with wool and flax, but we work in other ways, many other ways.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that we have to be careful of, is making anything in the Bible, even the Old Testament, even the laws, the Levitical law and the Ten Commandments, the Decalogue. If you're making that into a list of rules that you can just make sure you don't do these rules, then I think you're completely misunderstanding the Bible, and that's directly from Jesus himself. In the Sermon on the Mount, he goes and tells the people that he didn't say, I am here to change the law. You're a stinker. He didn't say, I'm here to change the law. He said, I am here, I'm not going to erase one jot or tittle of the law. I'm not going to erase one jot or tittle of the law. And so what he's saying when he says, you heard this, you heard that it was this, but I say it's this. He follows that formula throughout the Sermon on the Mount. He's not changing the law, because he said himself he's not going to change the law. What he's saying is you've always misunderstood the law. He's saying that if you can avoid actually going and sleeping with a woman who's not your wife, then you did good. He says no. Just because you physically didn't do it, he's saying your heart is in the wrong place. You were thinking about it. You were desiring it. You need to shut that down. You need to not dwell on those kind of things. The Bible says dwell on what is good. And don't allow yourself. You're going to have thoughts, but don't just sit there and entertain those thoughts and allow those thoughts. If you can keep yourself from wrestling someone to the ground and murdering them, oh, well, I did good. I didn't murder that person. I didn't physically murder them. Good job. But if you harbor hatred in your heart for that person, he said you've already murdered them. And so it's the same with this right here. It's not a list of do's and don'ts. We don't have to go out and get our spindles and get our wool and as Christian women and start making clothing or spinning thread. It's not a command like that. It's saying, is your heart in the right place? Are you working hard?
And whatever you do it as if unto the Lord.
And in this instance, it's talking about, specifically, I think it's talking about, the way I read it, it's talking about in relationship to your family. So, I mean, you can correct me if you see it a different way, but she seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. And then 14, she is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. I think that's directly referencing for her family, right?
That makes sense.
And so, of course, anything a Christian does, male or female, you're going to do it as if you're doing it for God. You want to work hard. But I think in this context, as the mother, he's saying, work hard to provide things for your family, I think.
And something I was just thinking about, he's talking about the things his mom told him. And he's probably also taking from his mother, the godly example that she lived. So, I mean...
Yeah, oftentimes your actions speak louder than your words.
So he had probably a virtuous mother. And now he's looking at those attributes and he's saying, I want to find a wife who has those same attributes.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is still in that line of verses there where he just talked about getting a virtuous wife. So there is some context to it also. I think, we got to remember it's a double-edged sword. This is the way a godly woman should have her heart set in this way, and a godly man should be seeking someone who has this kind of attitude.
Where most of the time in our society today, it's like the total opposite of that. On both parts.
Mm-hmm.
Both parts.
Well, too often today, a marriage is all about what your spouse can do for you, whether male or female. And that's why so many of those marriages end. And even a good marriage where people aren't really like that, I'm sure there's going to be times when every couple, just for instance, there are times when I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to start putting myself first, and then I have to check myself, right? And I'm sure there are times.
Well.
Yeah, and now I can't tell you because I don't know the motives of her heart. Humans. I can tell you that my wife is one of the most giving and selfless people I know, but I'm sure that even her heart and her motivations can be off at times because nobody's perfect. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, and we're going to continue to do so. God sanctifies us; He grows us, but we're not perfect yet. This side of the grave, I don't think we're going to be perfect. I think our heart's being conditioned, and we're being conditioned for the next life. Is my guess, but
that'll conclude this portion of the Bible study on the Proverbs woman. I decided to split this up into about 20-minute increments for easier consumption. So I'll see everyone next time. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. You can also watch the other videos on this playlist to continue and finish this Bible study.